it's okay, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's
like I tell my
data.
son.
That's all it is. What you say?
It's like I tell my son, there is no failure. The only way you can fail is by not doing anything. Sometimes you find out ways it's not supposed to be done.
And you find a new thing sometime, like a Formula 409. It took 4,409 chances for them to come up with that. The sticky note was supposed to be something else. But look of the millions of dollars that have been made on sticky notes and really organized and simplified a lot of people's lives. I think the sticky note is the fundamental instrument, along with a marker or pencil, that brought about the computerization.
Yeah.
Something like a sticky note. But I think you said something in, like, from the presentation, Pascal, is that he talked about thriving. Thriving is being on that leading creative edge and engaging in it. And it's trying stuff, it's applying stuff, and letting the outcome give you what the outcome is going to give you. Is you do it with all the knowledge you know, for the intention that you have, for the outcome that you desire. And everything else is feedback along the way. Oh, okay, it doesn't work like that. Oh, I should speak some different kind of words to this type of person. And still know how to be authentic in myself as I convey my vision to them. But let me understand them so I can speak their language of what I desire to convey. So I really like that video exercise.
It's a way of getting more connected from the spirit to the body, actually doing what the spirit wants it to do.
I think it's going to give me that and something else of being comfortable and expressing myself through my own body.
Yeah.
Through my own voice, the one that actually comes out.
And funny, we don't think about stuff like that because it's how the world perceives us.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
so
got
I might be,
feedback, right? Like, oh, great
yeah,
information, but like, you gotta speak it more clearly because I don't understand what you're saying, right? I got some feedback like this, like quite a few times. So I'm like, okay, well, it might be a hint that like my communication skill is not as good as I think.
say that again. Your what is good?
My communication skill is not
Mm-hmm.
as good as I think.
Mm-hmm. So recently I went back to some former teachings that I was having reflections on, and it said, study great speakers. Just get a few different kind of speakers. And one of the best ones to study is comedians, the good comedians. They really have to touch people in such a way to get that, those laughs, to convey the punchlines. It's about timing and body language, tonality, facial looks, all of that. Their walk, whether they walk or stand, how long they stand, based on their body, if they take up 2 bottles of water or 6 bottles of water, and using the interaction, such as water, as part of the thing that they are. So it's really tuning into your body, your beingness, your message, your mission, and letting that flow with the understanding of who your audience is. So they you know, they do a lot of layers of consciousness and work in order to be the best they can be. So I studied Hart, and they actually did a roast on him. So I got to see him in on stage, and then I got to see him um uh
Oh, Kevin Hart?
how yes, Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
How people, when they roasted him, how people perceived him. So I got the impact of how I interact with him, because you know it's like some of his movies are lame, but him as a stand-up comedian, it's all him. It's what he writes. It's what he tells. It's
Mm.
what he presents. So and Seinfeld was there. Seinfeld did a bit. So I was watching his timing. And the funny thing about it is, like 80% of what they were saying, I was right there with them. I got it. But there was some 20%ers there. And I don't know if the 20% that I wasn't there with, like the whole exercise of that, is because maybe I was thinking of, you know, how something else impacted me. And then I came back to it in consciousness to continue to study. But they were very diverse.
Mhm.
John Maxwell says many people many people, what does he say? But few communicate. Many people talk, but they don't communicate. And communicating is two-way, at least two-way.
Yeah, a big part is listening, right? And communicating. Because when I talk to my friends, say, you know, and then I start talking and whatever, like if I talk about auras, for example, and then I see that like they're not interested, you know, I'm not gonna keep going, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
really like listening what like their body language, like are they receiving what I'm communicating, or like they're just like they're shutting down right away, right? And then if like they're shut down, but then like as I'm talking, you see them opening up like almost like a flower, then like you're like, okay, well, they're at least they're receptive of what I'm saying, right? They might not understand everything, but they're receptive. So I'll give them a little bit more water as an analogy.
Well, I see you doing that exercise, speaking into the video as if you're speaking to them, and then perceive yourself of that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, because I feel like it's one of the fundamental skill to improve your entire life.
so we know the saying, your net work is your net worth. Network is people,
Mm-hmm.
relationships, which is from communication. Good point.
Mm. I want to change subject a little bit because I had a great manifestation yesterday.
Mhm.
And for me to recognize that, it's huge. So last week, one of my boss called me and he says, like, can you work this Saturday as an overtime day? And right away I says, yeah, for sure. Because it's double time, right? So, and then like I was off that day. And my wife's like, well, you can't work. And I'm like, why not? Said like, well, I gotta work because when she's working, I gotta take care of Kai. And I'm like, ah, shoot. And then, but I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can do. So start thinking, right? And then like, very kind of peaceful. I'm like, it's gotta have a solution here. It's gotta have a solution. So keep thinking, and I'm like, well, maybe this friend will do it. And she was like, well, I wouldn't mind. Like she take care of her dog, but like she never take care of a baby, even though she wants baby, but like she never had any. So my wife wasn't really trusting her with Kai because he's moving a lot. Like he's got quite a bit of energy right now, right? So and so I'm not giving up, right? So a couple of days later, I show up at work and I'm like, because I'm off on Friday and then I'm supposed to work on Saturdays. So let's see if he calls anybody for overtime for Friday so I can switch Fridays for Saturday. So I looked with that and then like I found that like there's one lady that she got called in for Friday and she was like, oh, sorry, I cannot switch with you because like I promised my friend to move her. And I'm like, damn. And it was like, well, if it like the plan changed, just let me know. So that stays like that. And then like even I was like, well, I want to tell my boss say yesterday. So he's got enough time to change people around. And then so yesterday, so I'm like, well, I don't know. And I even tell my wife this Sunday, I'm like, well, you gotta ask Rachel. You gotta ask Rachel, even though you don't trust her. I think like it's my only option, right? So she was like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't trust her with Kai. And I was like, okay. So I went to work and I'm like, it's still hope, right? Like I'm still like, yeah, there's something's gonna happen. Like, my desire and intention is there. Like I exhaust all possibility, I feel like, And then as I'm working yesterday, my boss called me and he's like, would you mind to change Saturday for Friday? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, for sure, right? And then I look at my message, and then my wife was able to reach another friend that she had like babies and like she could take care of Kai. And I'm like, oh my God, like now I've got too many options, right? So it's like, it was just like, it might sound like really like very simple, very like nothing. But for me, I was just like, I put my desire, my intention in it, and I just stay in that tension, and then like it resolve itself.
I get it. Wow, that's powerful. You knew what you wanted. You knew what your ultimate intention was. It was to take advantage of those hours and not just calling and saying, "Oh man, I can't make it," or anything like that. You're the hands at the potter's wheel. You shape that clay with your
Yeah, and then
intention.
if I get called again for overtime, I always gonna say yeah, unless like I don't have much time, right? But I had a week to figure things out. So But if it says like, well, tomorrow or like the day of, like I'll be like, well, no, I can't, right? Because I'm taking care of Kai. But like, if he gives me like a week notice or something, then maybe I can move things around. And now, like, I know that our friend Julie is a possibility.
Yep. I hear another option too. So if he offers you for a day, say, I'm glad you thought about me. That is awesome. But can you see if there's a second option on Friday? And then maybe as he's working the schedule, he can make it work for you as well as you make it work for him.
Yeah, like usually, like that's not how it works. I like
It's not an
that.
option.
Yeah, no, it's not how it works. It's kind of like a big opportunity, like to work in overtime. So like he's got a list, so like he calls like by seniority, right? So if I don't take it, then
Uh-huh.
like there's like 20 other people that will take it.
Yeah, but he may prefer you. I would still put it out there
It
before I gave it
yeah,
up.
yeah, no, for sure,
Because he's,
absolutely.
yeah, he's
And
thinking systematically going down the list.
I've done that. Like they call me on the Saturday, and then he was like, "Oh, well, I think he would call me on Friday," and he's like, "Oh, can you work on Saturday?" And I'm like, "Ah, oh, shoot! Like I gotta, well, not shoot, but like I gotta take care of Kai." And then I said, like
Yeah.
the next day or whatever, it says like, "Well, if you have an opportunity on Monday or Tuesday, then I'm available, right?" And he started laughing. He's like, "Well, if I predict the future, yeah, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
know."
Mm-hmm.
But
We'll think of you. That
yeah,
was
exactly.
good. Kudos to
So,
you.
well, I love it because like we're going to Mexico, so like we're leaving Sunday, and I was like, well, this will pay for all our meals there, if I work that day.
Wow.
Right. So I was like, man, like I want to work. I
So
really
let's
want to
see.
work. And that it's like it's even better because I even like offer like money to the person that was working on Friday. Right. I said like I'll give you $100 cash. I don't care because like, for me, like to work an overtime day, it's like it's still like whatever, like 600-700 bucks in my pocket, right? Like so I'm like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care like to give you $100 cash, right? Because it's nothing or 600-700 bucks, right? So I'm like, it's a no-brainer. But she was like, yeah, I would do it. It's not about the money at all, right? It's just, I promised my friend, like, oh, okay, all right. I was a little bit bummed out, but I was like, it gotta be a possibility. And then you should see me in the truck yesterday. I was like, dang, dang, jumping up and down and like so happy. Yeah. So it just gave me like more confidence on like bigger manifestation, because I got told like when I had a reading, like you're very strong. Well, like we all are. But like she told me, she was like, you can manifest anything. You're very strong at it. And I'm like, and it's kind of like she just tell me, but like it barely touched me. But then when I
Morning.
put it in practice, I'm like, okay, okay, I can definitely do that. And the bottom line, it was fun. It
Fun
was fun to
manifesting.
be in that tension.
Mm.
Because I didn't know what's gonna happen, right?
And it's fun to know, like hindsight, how you set the intention, how you held it, and how the universe conspired to support it.
Yeah. And amidst
It's-
the vibration of not like fear or, oh, I'm not gonna get it, or doubt, or because now you're switching track.
Mhm. It says pray without wrath or doubting. You can't put uh, the gasoline in and punch a hole at the same time in the tank
Mm.
and expect to get somewhere. That is so good. I needed to hear that this morning. Thank you. You prefaced it almost like this may be a little thing, but maybe at one of the parties, they might not get it, but I definitely get it here. Thank you for sharing that. I think I'm going to enjoy views on all of that for the rest of my walk. Guys, have an awesome, awesome day. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah, you as well, Sandra.
Bye. Well, guys, thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, you as well, Jesse. Thanks. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Pascal. Bye, Heinz.